Hi, everyone. Thank you so much for joining me. I'm so excited. I was like jamming out before this, and I looked up and I'm like, oh my gosh, it's 8 o'clock. We gotta get this party started. Okay, so I'm so excited to bring you this information this evening. How is everyone doing? How are you feeling today? How's everybody feeling? Pretty good? A little tired? Energized? How are you feeling? All right. So something brought you here tonight. So I am excited to know what piqued your interest on this topic. If you are feeling like sharing, I would love for you to share in the comments just what you are excited or hoping to gain from this evening, with our topic being healing your inner child. So feel free to share. Hello. Happy Monday. And we're going to get started in just 1 minute. Yay, Kayla. I'm so excited that happened, that it was just kind of like something that came to you. Thank you. Something that came to you. That's wonderful. I know I remember hearing about this topic before a couple years ago and being like, what is that? I was just intrigued to learn more. Always looking for blind spots. I like that too. I'm always looking for self-improvement, always looking for different ways to get to know and love myself a little bit more. Yeah, how the past can shape the way that we look at things currently, right? Isn't that interesting? Interesting perspective, for sure. Okay, well, I am going to get started. So it is just me tonight. So I'm going to go back and forth, and I am recording. So that's good. I'm going to take a moment to introduce myself, and then I'm going to get into the nitty gritty of this evening. I'm going to try something different that I haven't done before. So I'm not quite sure if it's going to work. And if it doesn't work, I have a backup plan. So I'm going to try something a little bit different, which is why I asked if you could try to be in a place that you can have a little bit of quiet. I know for some of us that's more challenging. Like I can hear my son jumping in the bathtub right now, but I'm just trying to like be here to be able to be in this moment. Because I do have a meditation that I would love for us to try this evening, which is to actually try to connect with your inner child. So I'm really excited about it. And it's only 12 minutes long, but I really think that it'll be extremely beneficial, especially in the evening time. So I have that for tonight as well, but I will just kind of kick things off for you. So my name is Sarah Marie Paul, and I'm a wellness educator and a wellness coach. And I've been with Young Living for about 4.5 years now, and I'm a gold brand partner leader, and I absolutely love speaking about emotional healing. I really do, because my history or my background, I had a really traumatic childhood where I had a lot of things going on, and a lot of the things that we're going to talk about tonight, you'll see me kind of sharing a little bit about my personal story as well, and how I was able to overcome a lot of those hardships or reframe some of those things that I went through in order to live the life that I live today. And the life I live today is not perfect. I am an imperfect human being, and I am very, very honest and open about that. However, I have come a long way, and I love myself, and I worked really freaking hard to be where I am. So I love sharing those success stories with others, just because if I can help one person, I think that it's all worth it. And I've had so many people come to me after me just sharing even like a snippet of some of my history. And I've had people say, oh my gosh, I can't believe how similar our stories are, or wow, I've really felt that way and I never could really put it into words. So thank you for sharing that. So I wear a lot of my emotions on my sleeve, and this is who I am. You're always going to get the same version of me, but I'm just going to kind of put it all out there this evening. So healing your inner child is a bit of an emotionally loaded topic, especially if you have had any trauma in the past. And some of you may go through this and you may say, okay, my childhood was pretty much perfect, but I still have some of these feelings. And I'm going to give you tools at the end, I promise, that are going to enable you to feel uplifted, to give you some starting points and to give you some resources, because I believe that that's the most important thing. Like, I want you to leave these Monday night calls with tools that you can get started with immediately, that you don't have to wait for anything. You don't have to order anything. Like, you can use exactly what you have in order to start the healing process. So that's what I'm going to be doing tonight. Hold on one second, please. I'm sorry, give me one moment. I have to go hide somewhere else in a different room. I'll be right with you in a moment. I apologize. Okay. Can you guys hear me okay? All right. I'm hiding in my basement because of things of life. Okay. So we're going to get started. So I'm going to share my screen with you, and I am going to start the presentation, and feel free to ask any questions as we go. And like I said, I'm going to have, oh, thank you. This is my crazy basement, but thank you so much. So I ask any questions as we go. And like I said, I'm going to start the interactive portion in just a minute. So just bear with me for one moment as I share my screen. This is who I am. Feel free to connect with me afterwards as well. Okay, so tonight we're going to talk about what is your inner child. We're going to discuss the signs that your inner child would benefit from healing. We're going to talk about how to connect with your inner child. We're going to do an inner child meditation. And then I'm going to have you leave tonight's call with resources to help you on your healing journey. So let's chat first about what, or should I say, who is your inner child? So this is such a big question, because some people believe that you have one inner child. I happen to believe that you have a multitude of inner children that are within you. Each of us has the desire to be cared for, to be loved, to be nurtured. And that little child inside of you, even when you are an adult, is called your inner child. I believe that you have different versions of this inner child at different times that are of significance during your life, so that if you had something traumatic happen when you were 3, that perhaps you have a version of that 3-year-old that is inside of you that can be one of your inner children. You can also have that happen for many different versions of you at different ages as well. So your inner child, it can just be one version that comes to mind, you as a younger child, but it can also be several different versions that you can also start to heal at different times, depending how you are feeling, depending how your behaviors are manifesting, depending on triggers that you have, depending on what's happening within that moment in time as well. So, who is your inner child? Your inner child is a free spirit that's emotional, sensitive, fun loving, joyful, imaginative, creative. Your childhood spirit may have been tamed, but it is still somewhere inside of you. It can influence our decisions even when we are unaware, because our inner child is part of our beliefs about ourselves. So, things that happen early in childhood, and this can even be for some of us, I mean, in utero, because we are a child when we're inside our mother's tummy too. And if our parents or if our moms went through trauma when they were pregnant with us, this can also be something to help to influence us and who we are and how we react to situations today. And that is a completely new concept to me. But working with my latest therapist, it was just amazing. Working through some trauma, that was surrounded around my, my mom when she was pregnant and when I was inside her belly, especially during like her third trimester when she was having issues with my father. And then it can go all throughout the rest of your childhood leading up to adulthood as well. So that is who your inner child is. It's that being or that feeling that is inside of you. So how do you know if your inner child might need a little bit of healing? Well, if it or if you were hurt, if you were neglected, frustrated, abandoned, or abused during childhood, you may need a little bit of healing. If you have hidden the inner child, it may be causing you to feel worried, anxious, or fearful of being treated badly, or not being accepted by others. If you regularly feel guilty or you regularly don't feel good enough in social situations or even just playing the comparison game, that could stem back from feelings of validation from your childhood as well. It had to be hidden or pretend that your family was happy and healthy, even if it wasn't. So this stems back to childhood when maybe you grew up in a family where there was something traumatic happening, where you had to go to school every day and put on a happy smiling face and just act like everything was fine at home. Or if you were a child of an addict or a child of an alcoholic, many times this is something common that those children will also pretend that their families are happy and that they're healthy, even if they are in utter chaos when they're at home. These are all situations that impact us as adults. If we have a difficult time playing, being in the moment, letting go, those of you who have young children, if you find yourself just saying, oh my gosh, I do not want to play, or I'm having such a hard time playing, and then you feel like you're a bad mom or a bad, grandmother or a bad auntie or whatever, right? Because you're just so not into it. You always want to be serious. You kind of want to be moving on to the next thing rather than being there in the moment that you have a really difficult time. This is something that stems from childhood as well, because many times, many of us had to grow up much more quickly than we should have had to, or behave in a much more adult way, or take on and assume adult roles before it was appropriate for us. So that is another sign that your inner child might need healing. But sometimes when we dream or daydream, we really think about it, we can picture what the little child inside of us is like. And there are different ways that you can see that trauma from childhood, that it impacts us as adults in the way that we live our lives. So there are different things that we might do, ways that we hide our inner child. I know. I know. I'm describing myself as well because I remember, even playing with my son, there are still so many times that I'm like, oh my gosh, this is just like, I don't want to say it, but like sometimes it's just like torture. That's how I would feel. Like I'm just supposed to be here and I'm supposed to be present, but I just want to go on and I have to cook or I have to clean or I have to get this thing done or that thing done. And I have to just be responsible and I have to check all the things off the list, when in reality the most important thing is that we're there in that moment for our children so that these cycles don't continue. And the beautiful thing is that no matter how much trauma we had as children, that if we are the ones, when I'm going to talk about the healing portion of this, we are the ones that can break a cycle. We can break a cycle of trauma that's been going on in our family for a multitude of generations. We can be that force that then completely changes it for our children, for their children, just to help to break that cycle. So here are some ways that we hide our inner child as adults. They call them like wearing different masks or assuming different responsibilities, personalities. And one of them is people pleasing. And this is one that I hear a lot from friends, from other women, always giving people what they want to please them, to gain approval, to avoid conflict, sacrificing really what you truly want to do just to kind of, stay on neutral ground with other people. People pleasing is definitely something that we learn in childhood. Entertaining. Some of us learn to be the life of the party by making jokes, by being a clown, by making fun of other people, or making other people just happy without being sensitive to your own needs or feelings. So kind of always being, the shining light, always being the happy-go-lucky one, always being the one making other people laugh. That person, that is another way to hide your inner child. Withdrawal. Some people do the opposite and they completely withdraw. They pull in, they turn off their feelings, right? They hold back any emotional responses to make sure that no one gets to know who they really are or how they really feel. Other people in adulthood may just really focus on their exterior appearance, right? They want to look the best. They want to look good by overachieving, by being perfect, by doing only what seems to be the right thing all the time. And even sometimes being extremely materialistic, like always having the nicest clothes, always having, the best shoes, always having like hair, makeup, nails, all the things done all the time, because that exterior makes everything look like the interior is just fine. No one will look any further. So that's another form of protection as well. Yep. So next is going to be enabling or rescuing. And this is something that I fell into for a very long portion of time in my life. So enabling or rescuing, by always focusing your attention and energies on the needs of others, you keep the focus off yourself to the point that you can't identify anything you need to work on yourself. You're out of touch with who you actually are, and you're just constantly trying to help others, to improve others. You're always seeing like the best in others, which sounds like it's a really great thing, right? But it's not, because you completely get lost in the shuffle. You lose your identity. You tend to hold on to really negative relationships that for way longer than you should. You may get into abusive relationships, all different types of things like that, right? So this is something that for me, I grew up in in an alcoholic household, in an addict household. So I was constantly seeing behaviors being enabled in front of me. And I didn't realize it until, oh my goodness, until my mid 20s to early 30s, actually early 30s, that this was something that I was stuck in this cycle of, because oh my gosh, who knows how many generations before me had always just done that. They'd always made excuses, or they'd always kind of hid behaviors around, or just, helped others even at points of time when, I don't know, maybe they weren't deserving of that help too. So this is something that's very, very common if you grew up in that type of household. The next one is passive aggression, agreeing to go along with requests or orders when you disagree and you have no plan to follow through. And then or if you agree, then the entire time you are so bitter and you are so negative and you are so just like hating the whole experience. And then you kind of like passively aggressively, maybe joke about it to the other person. Or maybe someone, who is like that. I can think of a family member who is always like this, who just says like the most wild things. And I'm like, oh, obviously that's not quite how you really feel. When you hear that, that negative tone or that negative connotation with it too. The next one is jumping to negative assumptions, assuming the worst about others and what others think and plan to do. So you give other people power over you. Many people who have negative thinking hide their true selves to avoid conflict. So you just always, you're in a negative mindset. You're always kind of second guessing what someone else's intentions are. Maybe if someone does something nice for you, you're thinking that there's an ulterior motive. Or maybe it's just, the assumption that was drilled into you from childhood. I remember from a young age, I remember my father telling me that there's only one reason that a guy is ever going to be nice to me. And you can assume what that reason would be. So for the longest time, I had this preconceived notion in my head that whenever any man or any boy really, or young man or, gentleman would do anything nice to me, that they were always wanting something else from me. And you can imagine how that played out just in my adolescence and in my young adulthood as well. And then the last one is acting out or playing the victim. So maybe instead you are a person who draws attention to your negative behaviors. You try to hide your real self, who is actually sensitive and pretty needy, but you are always just kind of drawing attention to the things that you're not doing well. And maybe you are the one who's just like, oh, I'm the hot mess mom, I never have anything together, or, I'm just trying to do the best I can, or, oh yeah, that mom can do that. Or this could be anything, I'm the woman here who, yeah, I'm never on time ever, or I'm the one here who, on and on and on, just thinking about all those things for that person who is just constantly playing the victim. Oh my gosh, would you believe that what happened to me? We all have those people too in our lives. Can you think of that person that every single time you see them, they're just talking about, oh my gosh, this is what just happened to me. Can you believe that this also happened to me, or this person did this thing to me? And it's always seeming like they're not seeing their part in anything that's going on with the situation, or really with life. They're not playing an active participation role. Rather, they're thinking that all these things are just being done to them. Do you guys know somebody like that? Oops. All right, so here, we're gonna do some ways to connect with your inner child, okay? Ways to connect with your inner child. And this is where we're gonna have like a little something going on here. So first, there's some ways that you have to just kind of think. Okay. A lot of this has to do with our beliefs because, like I had stated, and I had it in bold in the very beginning, this is it's a mindset thing. It is a way that you feel about yourself thing. This is very much a self-love, a forgiveness thing, a self-respect thing, and also an acknowledgement that you are needing to heal or you are wanting to heal. So it first, you have to believe that both you and your inner child deserve respect. So how many of us have done things that when we were younger that maybe we're not the most proud of? Or how about this? How many of us have done things when we were younger that we would not do today where we're at in our lives? How many of us? I can't see anybody, so let me just see. Yeah, how many of us, right? Okay, yeah, I think we can all pretty much be like, yeah, right? And there are things that we think about or things that maybe run through your head or something that just ran through your head right now. Whatever just went through your head right now, okay, is something that I'm going to say that you are still holding on to and you are still feeling guilty about, or you are still punishing yourself about. And it could have happened like 30 years ago. Holy crap. Okay. Doesn't that version of you just deserve a break? Like, don't you deserve to have a conversation with that version of yourself to say, hey, 16-year-old Sarah, look at you now, girl. Look at where you are now. It is no longer, I don't even know what year it was, I don't know, 20 years ago. So it's no longer 2001. It is now 2021. Look at where you are. Look at the home that you live in. Look at the family that you have. Look at the mindset that you have. And it's okay. Like, I love you. I'm going to give you a hug. I'm going to give you the love that you needed then, that no one else would give to you, that you were seeking to find. And I'm going to tell you, look, you made it. You made it. It's okay. I forgive you. And you need to forgive yourself. It's okay to have those conversations. In fact, it's necessary to have those conversations and to have that understanding of where those things came from, because you were a child when these things happened, or you were a teenager, which is still a child. You were not an adult, or you were just a young adult when these things happened. And you were looking for something. You were looking for nurturing. You were looking for caring, love. You were looking for respect. Okay. So it is an activity that you can do through, and I'm going to give you a bunch of different ways to do this, but to have an actual conversation with that version of yourself, with whatever version that just popped up when I said, did you do something that, maybe you're not so proud of or that you would do differently today? And you all said, yes. So I believe that pretty much every single one of you, then a memory stuck up. Did like a memory stick into your head? Anybody? Yeah, right. You had like flashback for a moment. You're like, ooh, kind of like did the cringe thing. Like, yep. All right. I remember that. Wasn't so proud. Why did I do that? Well, instead of going there, it's important to give healing to that version of you, to be able to put that to rest, to be able to reframe how you think about that, and to be able to move on with the way that you can look at things now. So letting go of self-pity, okay, as well, over being neglected or abused as a child. And this is hard. And I'm not saying any of that lightly, because what happened to you impacted you greatly. And there's all different degrees of trauma or neglect or abuse. And what that should say is, and become and I was toying with this word, but you can become the hero of your story. I was going to say survivor, and that's not even it. It's the hero. You can become the hero of your story. And I say that with love, like so much love too, because I know that there are so many different varying degrees of that, but you have to let go of that victim mentality in order to be able to move on. You can create a bond between the adult you and also your inner child. Give yourself a hug every day and work on self love. And this is something that's like, there's mirror work that you can do. There are affirmations. I'm going to give you all those tools, but this is so important because it comes back to that self love perspective. You can say that you're proud of yourself. You can say, working on showing your inner child how far you've come, where you are now, and that there's no need to be afraid anymore. There's visualizations that you can do that I'm going to talk a little bit more about in just a minute. But especially when we're doing this meditation that's coming up in just a moment, you can visualize, the trauma that you've gone through, and visualize you partnering up with that whatever age self. So that 12-year-old self, for instance, you can visualize you partnering up with that self, having that conversation like I just walked you through with my 16-year-old self, and even taking all those negative memories, taking all of that baggage, taking all of the memories associated with it, and visualizing you putting them into like a huge bonfire, setting it on fire, watching it go up in flames, and then letting that version of you, that 12-year-old self, get really small and go back into your heart in that sort of way. Like, that's a very powerful, powerful visualization that you can do. Okay, so what I'm going to do now, I'm going to see if this works, and then I'm going to finish. Okay, so I am going to see if I can get this meditation to come up, because it's just perfect. And it's only 12 minutes long, and it is a meditation to connect with your inner child. And it is by a woman named Gabby Bernstein, who I love so much. And I thought it was just perfect, but I have to know if you can hear it. So let me know if you can hear it. I'm going to play it in just a moment, and then I'm going to go back to the rest of the meditation. So let's see.
Inner child meditation. Find yourself seated comfortably on the floor, cross-legged, or up straight in a chair. Gently roll your shoulders back. Close your eyes. On the inhale, feel your diaphragm extend. On the exhale, let it relax. Inhale. Exhale and relax that diaphragm. Inhale, extending your diaphragm. Exhale, let it relax. Feel yourself grounded. Notice the seat beneath you. Breathe in. Breathe out. Notice the floor beneath your seat and the building holding up the floor. Notice the ground, the earth holding up the building. Feel all the structures beneath you, grounding you, holding you, protecting you. Breathe in. Breathe out. Breathe in. Breathe out. Gently notice any areas in your body where you might be holding on to any discomfort or resistance. And gently breathe into that space in your body. On the exhale, let it go. Breathe in. Breathe out. Breathe in. Breathe out. Tapping in further to the areas and the energy in your body that may be scared or uncomfortable, numb. Just notice. Notice how it feels. Breathe into that space. Let it go. Describe to yourself what these feelings look like. Do they have a color? Do they have a shape? Do they have any information to reveal to you? Just breathe into the feelings. On the exhale, let them go. Whatever thoughts come to your mind about these feelings, let them be exactly what they are. Don't push them away. What are these feelings trying to tell you? What are they trying to avoid? Just inquire. Do you relax? Breathe in. Breathe out. Do these feelings have a certain memory attached to them? An experience? A time frame and age that you were when these feelings were ignited? Don't question whatever comes to your mind and just recognize it. Breathe it in. Breathe it out. Notice if there's any resistance to this younger part of yourself. Notice if you feel like you're going numb or avoiding, resisting. Just notice. Breathe in. Breathe out. Notice the ways that you want to protect yourself. Protecting yourself from feeling the old stories, the childhood experiences that we don't want to feel. Just breathe in. Breathe out. Now ask yourself right now, may I let this protector part of myself step aside and open up to the possibility that the protector can step aside. Breathe in. Breathe out. Breathe in. Breathe out. Now let yourself acknowledge who's standing behind the protector. How old are they? What do they need to feel safe right now? Breathe in. Breathe out. Breathe in. Breathe out. What does this younger part of yourself need from your adult, resourced self to feel safe right now? Breathe that in. Breathe out. It could be as simple as a hug or holding your hand. Allow yourself to envision whatever needs to come through right now. Your adult resourced self supporting the younger, scared part of yourself that needs some guidance, some love, some connection. Breathe in, breathe out, breathe in, breathe out. Continue to breathe in deeply and exhale completely as you allow your adult, resourced, whole self to support, honor, respect, and love this younger part of yourself. Breathe in, breathe out. Spend some time now supporting this part of yourself, this younger part of yourself. Just honor whatever experience comes through for you. Even if the experience is a resistance, simply honor and acknowledge whatever your adult self feels safe to do and to support the younger part of yourself. Honor and acknowledge what the younger part of yourself is willing to receive at this time. There's no right or wrong way to establish this connection. Just breathe in deeply. Exhale completely. And allow yourself to be in connection and resolution, knowing that there is a whole part of you, your adult resource self who is you. And that part of your presence can take over now. Gently notice all the changes and shifts in your energy. Place your right hand on your heart and your left hand on your belly. And hold a vision now of that young part of yourself as a golden ball of light held in your heart. Take a deep breath in and breathe into that space in your heart, knowing that that little part of you is always with you, always safe with you, always connected, supported, guided, and loved. Take a deep breath in and release. And when you're ready, open your eyes to the room.
Okay. So that is one way to be able to connect with that inner child through meditation. Does anyone want to share just like what age came to mind during that? All different ages, right? Yeah, wow. My goodness. Mine was my 6-year-old self. And that was like a pivotal age for me. With a lot of different traumas occurring, but it was when my parents got divorced. And I could picture myself wearing this purple shirt that I remembered. I didn't think to remember it, but in that moment, I remembered it, that I loved it so much. It was like a longer shirt, and I used to wear it with leggings. And I remember it had this little hood on it and a little flower, like little flower right here. And I was trying desperately to grow my bangs out. So I had like one barrette here, kind of with my bangs, trying to get them to grow back out. Um, yeah. And I needed a lot of love. I was looking for a lot of love at that age. So, yeah. Okay. Well, I'm going to go on because we have 9 more minutes. So I'm going to give you some additional tools. So I'm going to go back to sharing my screen with you. And let's go back to the presentation. Okay, so how to start healing your inner child. Oh my gosh, I thought this was just such a great little reminder after that experience that we just had, to also just think about, now I uncradle my inner child from my arms. We know that she won't be forgotten and that we will always be close. And that visualization, that Gabby was talking about, of that golden ball of light going back into your heart, but you being the resourced adult self, you being the one, who can care for that child. That's really powerful. So that involved meditation and also imagery, like we were talking about before. Affirmations are huge. There are all different types of affirmations that you can look up to find inner child healing or affirmations. I am going to share 2 with you on the next page as well. Another technique is somatic dance. I will play some of that for you in just a moment, but I want to make sure that I get through some of this, the rest of this content first. And somatic dance is healing dance through music. And there's also somatic therapy as well. So it's really just being free with your movements, because a lot of times when you are in need or would benefit from inner child healing, um, it kind of is difficult for you to just kind of let go, especially without the use of, a substance or a crutch. So it's really great when you are listening to music to just kind of let things free flow, to let your movements be messy. Another great way to do this is on like a little mini trampoline or a rebounder, and where you just kind of let your arms go, you let your arms kind of move and shake. This isn't pretty dance by any means, but this is healing dance. It's also great to help your lymphatic system and to help with drainage of your lymph. So I will play a little bit of that, but basically, somatic therapy is based on the nervous system. So it helps to really just kind of reset that parasympathetic nervous system. And you may not think about it, but many times these memories that we're holding on to, especially if they're traumatic ones, they make our body either stiff, or tight, um, or, it shows in the body, and that your mind and your body are always connected. I definitely believe in that. So the more that you can kind of move that energy through your body, and heal through those movements, the better off we're going to be mentally as well. Journaling, I'm going to share a free resource with you, which is how to connect with your inner child, with some journaling prompts that I'm going to share in the email as well. Therapy, I am a huge proponent of all different types of therapy. I've been in therapy for a very long time, and I feel like it has helped me to heal in so many different instances. There are so many different types of therapy as well that are out there. Um, and if you have tried therapy before and it wasn't a good fit for you, maybe it was the therapist. So I just want to really say that I'm a very huge proponent of therapy. Prayer, my goodness, you and surrendering so that you do not have to take all this on yourself. Um, we have an incredible God who will help to take on a lot of this burden from us, um, if you ask him to. Oils and routine, I'm going to share a little bit about you, and also play to find joy. So it comes back to what brings you joy. What can you do to play more? What can you do to have fun? What can you do to smile? What can you do to laugh? What can you do to get loose? What can you do to be in the moment? Um, I purchased an adult scooter the other day because um, I was tired of watching my son scoot up and down the driveway and just like me sitting there on a chair watching him. And I could tell that he wanted me to play with him, but I didn't really just want to like run after him scootering. So I ordered an adult scooter off of Amazon, and now you can find me taking my scooter to go check the mailbox and doing all sorts of things. And you can find my husband outside on the scooter. And that little purchase has made such a big difference in our family, and in the way that we spend that time. And it made me find joy too. So, healing tools. I thought these affirmations were beautiful. The first one is, like the sunrise, I find beauty in witnessing my life come out of the darkness over and over and over again. And the best way that I find to use affirmations is to use them in repetition. So to either use them in conjunction with the routine in the morning, um, or in the evening time, and to repeat them over and over and over again. I like to use them on at least 30-day cycles, or until I'm I feel good that I believe the affirmation and can move on. The other one is, like the sunset, I do not feel anger or sorrow when watching myself fall back into darkness. Instead, I find appreciation and gratitude for its beauty and trust that soon the light will come again. And that's a really good one for those hard times that we fall upon. Here's a couple resources for you. The Gabby Bernstein meditation that I played is actually from September 2020. She took an entire month just to work on inner child healing. So that's a part of her Miracle membership. The link is here if you want to check that out. She has a multitude of incredible resources when it comes to healing and mental health. And then this is the free journaling template. Rachel Havcost, she is on Instagram and she is fantastic. And she talks all about inner child healing. And that's basically just her jam. That's what she talks about all the time. So her free journaling templates are really incredible, especially if you're just looking for a place to get started. And then I also wanted to share with you some emergency resources that, because there are all different times when we're hit with trauma or we're hit and we are really down low, and sometimes we need other resources to help us. So this is a whole list that you can access with different mental health resources on it too. Um, I have battled with anxiety and depression at different times during my life, and I know how debilitating that they can be. So I just wanted to give you other tools to also be able to support you. And then, okay, here's some essential oils too. So something that I have used over and over and over and over again, and I truly believe it has helped me so much. And I've talked about this so many times, but I'm just going to keep talking about it, is the feelings kit. The feelings kit is amazing. It comes in a little kit like this. Oh my gosh, just opening it. It's been a little while since I used these guys. I think I'm going to use them again tonight. These 6 oils, they smell beautiful and amazing, and they're so powerful. And I use them with a little affirmation sheet, and you put them on a specific place of your body. It's really simple. And if anybody needs this, I can just send it to you as well. So you put valor on the soles of your feet. And as you do that, you say, I am ready to transform my life. And what this entire kit enables you to do is to really heal some deep seated emotional trauma that you're dealing with. At least it has for me. I've used it as several times during my life over the past 4.5 years when I've been hit hard with different triggers of past trauma or current trauma, or I just needed some additional support. And it has been incredible. It's been so life-giving to me. Harmony, you put that on your energy centers. The affirmation is, I'm open to give and receive love. Then you use forgiveness around your navel, and you say, I forgive myself and others for past mistakes. Then you use release over your liver, and you use the affirmation, I release all negativity from my body. Then present time. Oh my gosh, I love that one so much. Put it on your wrists and around your ears, and you say, I let go of my past. Then you use inner child, which is obviously a great oil to help heal your inner child. And you say, my authentic self is enough. And then you finish up with valor again on the soles of your feet. And you say, I'm ready to transform my life. I have used this protocol, like I said, probably 6 times in the past 4.5 years. And I will always have it on hand because it's been such a godsend to me. Inner child. The sweet fragrance of inner child can be used aromatically to stimulate memory response and open the pathway to your inner self, promoting acceptance and peace. It can be used to help let off steam and also encourage clarity to express blocked out feelings and emotions. Then there are oils like ylang ylang, which are incredible for inner child healing, especially if there has been trauma between you and a male figure in your life. It helps to balance out that energy in that relationship. Trauma life is incredible. I've used that at different times as well. And good lavender. Lavender is so linked to so many of our emotions and our emotional connections too. So incredible. So those are oils that I have used and that I love and I will always have on hand. And I just want to say thank you. So I hope that you found benefit in something that was shared this evening. I will share with you the Cosmic Dance list, which has some somatic music on it. I'm not going to keep you any longer, but I appreciate you so much. And then what I'm also going to do is share the little Google Doc here, which will only take a moment of your time. so that you can fill it out. And then I will send you all the handouts and all of the information as well so that you have access to all of that. So I have it in the comments. And then I will also put it in, well, I'll send everything to you via email, but I'll also have it in the event for this evening as well. So thank you so much. If you have any questions, you can always message me directly on Facebook or Instagram, and I'm happy to help to support you in any way that I can. I hope that you have a wonderful evening, and I will talk to you later. Take care.